On this episode of Dirt Cheap Daily, we're going to reupholster the headliner. Okay, so obviously the first thing you got to do with all of this is take the headliner out. Now, that's not the first thing I did. I actually just measured my headliner while it was in the car. If you know you're going to be doing this though, might as well pull it out because it's going to be easier to measure with it out of the car. So just measure the width and the length so that you know what piece of fabric you're going to need. So here is my very messy car. This has been my parts storage for the last couple of weeks, and I have some other goodies that are going to be going on the car in the next week or so. But here you can see the exposed roof, and there's a lot going on in this one. This is the LL Bean, so it's got the dual moon roof and all kinds of fancy fun bits and pieces all over the place. It's actually pretty cool how it's set up. I did want to just kind of point out how to pull your headliner out. This is kind of going to be universal for any car. Things are going to be different, but generally it's pretty self-explanatory and pretty simple. I didn't look up any ways how to do this before I started. There's only really one way to go about it. So you're gonna have to peel back basically all of the trim that's in the car. You can see this one's completely gone. All of the pillar trims need to come off, and you can see that these just attach with little clips, and so you just have to get your finger under it, or a pry bar, like a little plastic trim puller pry bar, and it just pops off. Don't do this too often, otherwise you'll get some kind of wiggly trim that'll rattle, and it's kind of stupid. But doing it every once in a while, you shouldn't have too many issues. Now for the rear ones, they slide underneath this section, right? So to get this section back, you have to pull out a couple of different screws. There's one hidden back here, one here, and then this little attachment point. Then that pulls back, and then I can get my finger underneath and just kind of pop the whole thing forward. There's these ones, so here's the center piece of trim. These are the ones that are just the little clips on the plastic. Now the clips stayed in on this one, so I need to pull it out and reattach it before I just kind of pop that back in. But the majority of all the trim work is just popped in there. This front piece, I literally just pulled it off. And here it is. It's got three kind of clippies, and they clip in, and then these supports just kind of hold it there. Up around here, there's just the industrial strength Velcro, and so the Velcro has to come off. On this back side, there's kind of these push pin kind of thingies, whatever you want to call those connectors, and you can get to those from the inside. Just from here, you pull out the piece on the top, and then it pops down on the bottom. Anyway, I'm going to let you guys kind of figure all of that out. Obviously, on the front, I had to take off my visors and all of the dome lights to be able to get it out. So, with that out, there are some normal just kind of push connectors like this that just pop up. Okay, anybody who has a Subaru, I have found 13mm bolts on a Subaru. Super strange. Obviously, if I was doing Volkswagen, it wouldn't be that weird, but I thought my 14 was like cracked or stripped out. Anyway, side note, once you have your headliner out, you gotta find some fabric. So this morning, I went to Savers and I found this. Somebody just donated a big piece of fabric to the thrift store. I got it for $3.99. And it's wool, so it's going to be hardy, it's going to hold up pretty well. And mostly, I really like the plaid pattern. It's got some red, some brown, some green, some blues, and that's going to fit the color scheme that I'm going with on this car. So, I like it, it's big enough, and it fits. Well, it's cheap, dirt cheap. $4 to buy this at like Joann's or Hobby Lobby. This one's upholstery fabric. So upholstery fabric, the skein is 60 inches wide, and normal fabric is only 42 inches wide. Some of the upholstery fabrics are like 17 to 20 bucks or 30 bucks a yard, and even more expensive. Obviously, this one's an older piece, and so it was just kind of sitting around at somebody's house that they finally donated. Anyway, super simple. I'm just going for it, because really there's not that much to it. Alright, so now I'm going to take it inside and iron it. This is going to work out great. I just wanted to make sure that I had the right fitment, and so I need to get like these just kind of wrinkles out. This crease here, this crease here. There's kind of a crease down the center where it was folded, and the crease up here, and just some other wrinkles. I want it to be as flat as you can, so it'll go on right. Stoked for the brown wagon to have a little bit more color, because it's all the same color. It's all the tan gold, and on the inside it's all the blondish leather color. Put some more color in your life. Contact cement. So I just got this, and I got a cheapo paintbrush, and I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of brush it on. And then this stuff is super flammable, so you know, take the proper precautions. I'm just going around to all the holes, and at the corners I'm just cutting in relief. So here you can see a cut and a cut, just to have like 45-degree angle sections so that they can actually roll underneath. Same within these corners. Up underneath, but there's tension, so that needs cut back a little. So that it can roll under like that without having that stress there. So now I'm just going to kind of let this dry and go over the whole thing again and push down on all of it really hard so that it'll stick. Yeah, that's basically it. It's really simple. That quart was 10 bucks, 10.50, 11 bucks at Home Depot. So that's the stuff to get. Grab a paintbrush while you're at it. I picked up really cheap paintbrushes from Walmart that are like 50 cents. Really, really handy to have somebody helping you. I honestly don't think you would be able to get it this nice without some help. I don't know, it's been a few hours. So the top dried off, and so I flipped it over, and I'm going around all of the edges and putting down more contact cement. This one, it's down here, so that I can just kind of fold this over and stick it down. Most of the places, so it'll look like that. Most of the places, it all needs to dry first, because I did kind of a thick coat, because this material here is porous, and so I'm gonna have to, I think I'm gonna need to do 2 coats. So this right here isn't really sticky because it just kind of soaked into the headliner material. It's kind of a foam, and so I'm gonna have to go back over it, all of it again once this one dries. And get another coat of adhesive down so that I can flip everything over the edge and squeeze it tight and get it to stick. It's working out pretty well. This part here stuck, and yeah, it's gonna be rad. I'm happy with it. And I cut off too much over here. You can see it's only got 1/4 inch hanging off. I needed to have it like that. That's okay. So just finishing up kind of the seam sealing, or the edging. The key with the contact cement is to not try and make stuff adhere until the contact cement is totally dry. After I painted it all on all the edges, I came back half an hour later and did another coat, and then it's been about an hour since I did that coat, and everything sticks really nicely and does what it's supposed to. I did forget to put a second coat around here, so that's still drying. But if it's wet, it's not ready to get sticked. So that's the main thing with the contact cement. Make sure everything is dry before you stick it down, which sounds weird, but that's how it works. Anyway, yeah, and I guess I just wanted to show you, see, like, here's all my relief cuts so that I could get it wrapped around. All of these holes have plastic trim pieces or light coverings that go around them, so they aren't completely essential to have completely out like this. Like, this is kind of, oh, it's still wet. Anyway, this one is still kind of bigger than it needs to be, the little scraps are. And then this is almost too little right here. So a good in between is like right here, and even back here, that's a good amount of overhang. This starts to get a little long, but right here, that's all perfect right there. So I'm gonna let it all sit and dry and cure overnight, and then I'll throw it back in the car so that I can have a headliner and all my trim pieces and mostly the visors back for my commute on Monday. It's all done. Ta-da! I think it looks fantastic. I have a couple of things I still need to pop up in there, back there, but overall, it looks great. I think I'm gonna just leave my visors how they are. I'm happy with them, and I don't have a lot of extra fabric, and so the extra fabric that I do have, I think I'm gonna replace this stripe here. Yeah, I like it a lot. I think it looks rad. As you can see, there's a couple of spots. Right there I cut too far in. Right there I cut too far in. Same with on that back one, but you know, overall, I love it. It looks so nice. And mostly it's just a huge change from what it was. I like the twin moonroofs and how they're a different color. It works really well. I didn't realize how green it looked until right now, but you know, that works fine. So yeah, there is DIY headliner reupholstery. 15 bucks. That's what I'm talking about. Other things I might do now that I have that painted, well, now that I have that reupholstered, is paint the wood grain. I've never ever been a fan of all of the wood grain in any car. And so I might pull off all of this wood grain trim, sand it down, and paint it gray. Or like a tan, a dark brownish, kind of like this. I don't know. I just don't like the wood grain. I don't mind brown. I just don't like wood grain. So, I know. That's something I might do in the future. Anyway, that's it for today on Dirt Cheap Daily. Hope you liked it. It's super simple DIY again. It took me maybe an hour to get the headliner out, an hour to get it back in. It took me about an hour to iron all the fabric so that there was no creases in it, and maybe 3 or 4 hours of actual working time to get it on and glued and done right. And so definitely a very simple DIY project you could do in a day, super easy in a weekend. So that's it for today. If you're interested in more DIY content that's similar to this, just making your car cool, making your car how you like it, hit the subscribe button, because that's all I do is stuff like this for cheap, Dirt Cheap Daily. And so yeah, drop a comment, let me know what you think. Now I'm just going to cut to reinstalling the headliner. If you're interested in seeing all the little nitpicky things on how it comes out, I'm just going to include the full length. I'm going to speed it up a bit and just put on a cool song, but for reals, this is about the end of the episode. So yeah, we'll see you next week. Keep it dirt cheap.
He wants you to put him through the works. Why, man, you still run on 60. We'll have to pep you up to 90. every kind of taste.
It's the most tremendous new musical experience you can have.